My thoughts turn to friendship today and the values that really underpin great friendships, and how friendship is an evolution of self. It's an arena with which we display or reflect our story that we tell ourselves, but what we hold intrinsically. And we see that reflected in the people that we walk with on this path of life. My friendships have changed a lot over the years, and I know that my younger self definitely had friendships that were characterized by my story, and I could see need reflected and expectations, frustrations, issues around trust. Lots of things showed up in those years, and eventually, after we find that nobody can meet our needs but ourselves, and that the story doesn't change from friend to friend. If you hold it, then you're going to keep on drawing it to you, whoever your friends are. Eventually, I looked inward for the answers to try and understand these patterns that kept repeating. But to present day and to really the subject of what makes great friendships, for sure, I think the number one thing above all other things is the love or the care that you share with each other. A lot of friendships are based on mutual need, and so that's what's going to be played out. If that's the case with your friend, if you think of a friendship that you have where that's apparent, then that's going to show itself in all that you do. But if you're coming from a place of not from your head but from your heart, of a deep care and a love, then come back to that in your communications. Apologies for airplanes flying past. It's a great way to inform your conversations. If you've got something to say to someone and you just breathe into the moment and bring to your awareness that which you have for your friend, which is, let's say, love, it's definitely going to inform your words. People talk a lot about these values, and I'll just touch on them. Trust being the first one. And so, what does that actually mean to you? Spell it out to yourself. But do ask yourself this as you consider what trust means and how that might look. I want to trust them to care for me, to be there when I need them. However you finish that sentence. Ask yourself, do you trust yourself? Are there ways in which you don't trust yourself? Because if you're holding that, that's what will be played out in your friendship. And the same is true of communication. I said that communication is really let's say, enlightened and elevated by love and care. And certainly that's true. But also ask yourself, are there ways in which I'm not communicating with myself? What am I not hearing? If you find that issues of communication come up, there's often something there for you to hear from you to you, and likely will make things a little bit clearer between you and your friend. Respect. Same thing again. If issues of respect come up, ask yourself, where am I not respecting myself? Are there ways in which I could better respect myself? These are all key points, and life is a mirror, so it will continually give you the opportunity to see yourself. But the one I think comes up a lot for people is around boundaries, and I find that one so interesting, because I find you don't really need to define boundaries anywhere if you're actually meeting you. So a boundary is kind of like a fence in a way that you put up in order to say, okay, that's my line, please don't cross it. I expect you to respect that. But I find that when you meet what needed to create that boundary deeply with presence within yourself. So let's look at a boundary. So I can only see you once a week, or okay, that's fine. We'll go with that one. I can only see you once a week. You find that your friend is wanting more time with you than you're able to give. More exchange, more telephone calls, more visits, whatever it might be. So, okay, reflect it back to you. where do you not give yourself enough time? Are you giving yourself the time you need, just you with you? I know it sounds nonsensical. It seems like it's got nothing to do with your friendship, but actually it's everything, because you are bringing you into that friendship, and your relationship with yourself is what you're reflecting. So ask yourself that question. Breathe into that. Breathe into where you deny yourself and perhaps don't make yourself as important or the center of your universe as you could do. And you will likely find that as you do that, the need to define boundaries will disappear. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to put aside all of your wishes or needs for life to happen in a certain way, and that you'll just acquiesce to every request that's made of you. No, but you'll come from a very clear place. It won't have the strident need to make a point, and it won't have you lying down and not expressing what isn't working for you. You'll just calmly state where you're at with something and what you move with. So if you want to do something, you'll do it. And if you don't want to do something, you won't. And it'll be as simple as that. But back to the first thing that I talked about, which is love. That is always going to be the most important. And for me, that's really elevated the friendships that I have at this point in my life. I find that it doesn't matter whether I talk to them every day, every week, every month. It's not relevant. There's no conditions set upon what we should do, or that they should provide this for me or provide that for me. Listen, do something, support me this way, support me that way. I know that the friends I have very much give what they're able to give, are present to the degree that they can be present, love as they love, and all of that is a gift, and I need none of it, actually. I feel that the friendship that transformed my life is the friendship I've created with myself. And so that love informs everything. This, to me, is the very foundation of friendship.